Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new series right here on Nostalgia Gaming Retro, where we take an in-depth look at the history of this very channel, the people involved in the creation of, and more. So sit back, relax, grab your favourite snacks, and enjoy as we take you through the Nostalgia Gaming Retrospective. Now, let me take you back, all the way back, to the very beginning, the very creation of this channel itself. November 28th, 2011? Really? It's that old? I thought we were supposed to be doing a 5-year anniversary this year. Okay, whatever. I like the name of the person that made that blunder. So up until this point, I hadn't really used YouTube for much of anything, other than watching some random funny videos or watching gaming videos for tips, tricks and other stuff. It wasn't until this day would I finally create my own YouTube channel, just because I was tired of searching through tons and tons of videos just to try and find a video that I had watched days before. It never occurred to me to create my own content. I hadn't really the means to do it. That was until I was given a phone that had the ability to record videos. And at the time, I also had inherited my brother's Xbox 360. So yeah, I guess you could say I was able to record, but anything I was going to record from a phone in 2011 probably wasn't going to be very good. But that didn't stop me from trying. You see, back in the day, when starting out on the Xbox 360 of course, I kind of fell into a trap very early on. I enjoyed collecting the achievements. I guess you could say that later on in life I became something of an achievement hunter myself. But back then, just the thrill of unlocking an achievement in a game, that, to me, was top tier. I mean, I could go back and play games that I grew up with, like Sonic and Ninja Turtles, and essentially challenge myself to unlock new achievements. And once I hit my 100% completion goal, it was time to combine footage from the games I had just played and throw them into a video, complete with copyright music from AC/DC to boot. You know, for good measure. Unfortunately, I no longer have this video, so I couldn't even show it to you guys even if I wanted to. So what does any of this really have to do with how Nostalgia Gaming Retro is today? Well, nothing really, other than the creation of the channel itself and why I even decided to use it, not counting my first ever video, which we don't talk about around here. Let's fast forward all the way to March of 2014. Now at this point, I was a young college student at the ripe age of 23? Seriously? I mean, that's still young, right? I had a brand new laptop, which was for my studies, but I wanted to use it to record more video game footage. And now I was just missing a couple of things in order to do so, i.e. a capture card. So I would hop on to Amazon UK and see if I could find myself one. This is where I came across the ever famous Easy Cap, or as we like to call it back in the day, the Easy Crap. Now in hindsight, I really shouldn't have expected much from a capture card that cost around £30, but I don't know, I guess I was living in hope at the time. and at my dad's, but that's not important. Anything had to be better than that piece of crap video that I'd created back in 2011 using just my phone, right? With that, it was time for me to get down and play some games. Now, admittedly, back in the day, I wasn't exactly what you would call tech savvy, and the idea of downloading any kind of emulator was a risky move on my part, because I was too afraid in case I would download some virus onto my laptop. But I guess after a while I gave in and decided I would do it anyway. Only going to some trusted websites, of course, but you know, I do not recommend that you do this. I then had to think about what games I wanted to play, and one of those was, well, very easy: The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Now, I am aware that YouTube was chock full of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time playthroughs, but I didn't care. I was getting a chance to play this game once more and have it on YouTube for the rest of my life. Well, so I thought. I mean, the one thing I lacked more than anything was confidence. Back then, I was at a loss of words. I couldn't think of anything to say. I found myself playing the same part of the game over and over again. The intro, you know, that part where you wake up in Kokiri Forest and go off in search of the sword. Yeah, I played that probably enough to get bored of it, because I really wasn't holding my own attention. I thought, how can I grip the attention of others? So yeah, I guess that project failed. I even tried playing a different game. I think at one point I even sat down to play Pokemon Red. But it didn't matter what game I played, because I just wasn't finding my niche. And so I guess I didn't really bother much with it. That was a waste of 30 quid. But as time marched on, I kind of found something else that would work. Something I didn't expect, but it kind of did. And it's what changed the way I would do YouTube forever. You see, I was still very much active on the Xbox 360 back then, and yeah, one of the games that I would play with friends more often than not was a little game known as Grand Theft Auto 5. Granted, Grand Theft Auto 5 Online wasn't the game it is now, but there was still enough you could do, like go and do missions with your friends and go and do missions with your friends. Okay, so yeah, practically all there really was missions, but yeah, it was enough that we had fun doing it, so why not make videos about them, right? What? What do you mean I can't talk about this? What do you mean it's for a different channel? Oh, well, who wrote the script? Fine, okay, whatever. I don't get paid enough for this. But now, somewhere in between the abandonment of this channel in 2014 and its semi-revival in 2016, I had renamed this channel to Nostalgia Gaming. Yeah, does that sound familiar? Okay, so we're getting somewhere, right? Now, in 2016, it was also a big year for a particular character, a favourite character of mine growing up, Sonic the Hedgehog. Also, I should probably mention that at this time, I had an Elgato HD, and I had since got rid of the EZ cap. There's a funny story behind all that, but that's a story for another video. So in 2016, I had decided that it was time to revisit some of my childhood. As I mentioned, this was a big year for Sonic the Hedgehog, and I was going to make sure I had my 2 cents. So Retro Reviews was a short series that I had created where I wanted to give my take on the games that meant something to me growing up. But unfortunately, I, as a student, didn't really have much time to put into making these videos as I would have liked, and so yeah, the series just kinda died. Again. I mean, I had every intention of going back to it, I just had to get my studies out of the way first and pass all my exams. However, come the summer of 2017, the year I would receive the worst news of my life. That year was the year my mum sadly passed away. And so, as you can imagine, any want or feelings towards YouTube just weren't there. I didn't have motivation to continue on. A big part of my childhood was spent playing games. And although my mum didn't approve all the time, she also got involved from time to time. Some of her favourite games were games like Mario Kart 64 or Mario Kart Double Dash, even participating in the likes of Wii Sports and Streets of Rage. But I couldn't even bring myself to play those games. I decided to call it quits. That was until 2019. And I guess that's where the title of this episode comes into play. If you're familiar with the story behind Final Fantasy I's creation, Squaresoft was a games company that was facing bankruptcy, and Final Fantasy was created as a swan song. But little did they know that that would be the game that would save the company. Little did I know that this next idea would be the one that would save our channel. And it all started with one word: reboot. Nostalgia Gaming would soon become Nostalgia Gaming Incorporated. I know, right? That is probably not what you were expecting to hear, but hear me out. So the initial idea, even though we hadn't settled on what kind of games we were going to play, Nostalgia Gaming wasn't about one person like I initially had planned way back when. No. There was now a team forming, so that we could all play whatever games we wanted to under the one banner. And occasionally too, we would play some co-op games together, even though we hadn't quite figured all of that out. And, well, as 2020 drew in, it became increasingly difficult to have anyone visit you during a pandemic. So, largely, most of the games that we were playing, or had planned to play, had kind of gone out the window in favour of single player games. And so the idea of doing separate series and separate games came about. You see, you would have me, Rapid, doing my thing, and other members of the team doing their own thing too. I mean, it fit the aesthetic for what we were going for, but under lockdown, it was really all you could do for something of this scale. All that was left to figure out, however, was who was going to be on the team and exactly what games were they going to play. To start, Nostalgia Gaming Incorporated's team was comprised of 5 members. There was myself, Rapid, there was Cosmic, and there was Scony. But there was also 2 other members on the team that, well, for one reason or another, today might go unrecognised. There was Boots, and even lesser known was Impite. We were off and running and ready to go. All that needed to be decided now was what shows we were going to put on and what games to play. However, due to the ever-growing threat of COVID-19, it wouldn't be too long before we were landed with our first hit. Unfortunately, due to the ever-increasing workload, Impite had to drop out of the team, with an open return at any given point. Despite this small setback, we knew we still had something, and we were driven, now more than ever, to try and make it work, because this, after all, was our last shot. Our Final Fantasy. Well guys, I really hope you enjoyed this first part to the Nostalgia Gaming Retrospective. We will be back later on in the year with part 2, where we will explore more of the history, more of the channel itself this time. That was just more of a background into the channel itself, but now You know, I'm really excited for you guys to see what's coming up next. And yeah, I hope you guys stay tuned. And remember to drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that jazz, and I will see you for the next one. Until next time, stay cool.